Hello, my name is Jasmine Lashun Radford. I am an alumni of Clayton State University. I graduated summer 2020. I majored in health sciences with a double minor in psychology and health fitness management. While on campus, I was the captain of the women's track and field team for Clayton State. I also participated in the AmeriCorps. My first year, I was just a team member. Then my second year, I became a team lead for the Mentee Committee. And I was also a part of the student athlete advisory committee for SAC, which is through athletics. So my leadership roles at Clayton State involved being the captain of the women's track and field team. My first year, I was just an athlete. I really didn't know anyone, really didn't care to know anyone. My second year, during my first year, I broke a couple of school records, which kind of got me noticed a little bit by like athletic departments and compliance directors. And the athletic director, which the first year was Timothy Duncan, and Miss Marlene Aiken-Smith. And the second year, I became a team captain. And I also, like I mentioned earlier, my first year during AmeriCorps, I was just a team member. Then my second year, I became a team lead for the Mentee Committee. And for track and field, you have like a lot of girls underneath you, kind of like looking up to you. My first year, not a lot of people returned. There were many newcomers, many freshmen, many transfer students, and I myself was a transfer student. So I kind of knew that coming in, I really didn't have anyone to talk to, so I didn't want the new girls coming in to not have anyone to talk to. As far as AmeriCorps, I absolutely love having someone to reach out to me for help. So becoming a lead for the Mentee Committee was like really good because I absolutely love having a mentee the first year, and the second year it got even better for me. For the Student Athlete Advisory Committee, I was the president the second year I was in it. Even for the Peach Belt Conference, I became the chair. My first year I was vice chair, then I became chair my second year. And that's pretty much that committee was, or that organization was a liaison between athletes and administration. So allowing the students to vocalize their opinions and their thoughts about what's happening in the departments at their personalized schools and taking it back to the conference as a whole. So with me transferring to Clayton State, I endured a lot of losses. So while I was in high school, my mom passed away, which was a really big hit because she was a single parent. And it kind of, I withdrew from everyone. I transferred schools. I was kind of like in the shallows of everybody. I was an athlete, so of course with being an athlete, you kind of get held to certain expectations, but at the same time, I wasn't the one that wanted to stand up to those expectations. Coming to Clayton State, my brother committed suicide. So that was like another big devastation. I didn't want to talk to anyone. I actually walked around campus with my head down. And Mr. Timothy Duncan, whenever he seen me, he would tell me to pick my head up, to, look people in their eyes and talking to them, don't be so shy. And then I kind of fell into the arms of Miss Marlene Aiken-Smith, and she really took me under her wing. And they forced me into leadership roles. I really didn't ask to be in leadership roles. She kind of put me out on the edge and left me there. And she was always there to catch me if I were to fall, but she kind of forced me into those leadership positions. So honestly, it wasn't my initial decision. I was kind of forced into those roles, which I'm so thankful I was. As far as AmeriCorps, Malcolm Bender, he was in one of my psychology classes, and he inspired me to either attend an orientation session. And once I seen the welcoming environment, the welcoming community of the people in the organization, it made you want to step up. You couldn't not say anything in the organization full of people that everyone said something, everyone had a voice. So that kind of was my first interest into the door of becoming a leader. So the way I prepared for these leadership roles was by first observing others. I didn't just step into a leadership position and was automatically able to lead. I lay in the background. I kind of see what everyone else did. I had to pay attention to what kind of people listen to. I had to be a servant. I had to serve others first. I had to let people know that I'm willing to help and I'm willing to receive help. My first position as a leader was the track and field team. I had to prove my worth my first year on the team. Once I was able to show that, hey, I'm capable of doing this, or I'm capable of helping with this, people start to trust me more. So I definitely had to build trust first. As far as AmeriCorps, there was an extensive amount of training for learning how to become a leader. There was different orientation groups and different development sessions that kind of taught you what to expect out of a leader, and also that not all leaders are just complete leaders. You have to learn how to follow at certain times as well. So definitely knowing how to follow up, but also knowing when to lead helped me step into those positions. So the leadership skills I thought were critical to my role is definitely being able to listen. No one wants a leader that doesn't listen to what the people want, because in fact you're only able to lead if you have people following. So you definitely have to listen to the needs of others, listen to the good and the bad, not just one or the other. Listen to what's working, listen to what's not working. You have to pay attention to what needs to be fixed or what needs to be kept the same. So definitely being able to listen to others and be compassionate. You have to be genuine. You can't, you have to be genuine. You just can't allow people to, you can't put people in the environment to feel like you're only leading because that's your position. You have to make them feel like you really care, because that's how you get people to open up to you. That's how you get people to do what you're asking of them, by being genuine. A challenge I experienced with being a leader is learning how to deal with frustrations. So I did mention earlier that I did have a few deaths in my family, and outside of the two that I mentioned with my mom and my brother, there was a countless amount of other deaths. So I had my uncles passed away my first year at Clayton State. I had an aunt passed away while I was at Clayton State. And knowing that previously I did have not necessarily anger management issues, but I definitely had coping issues, so not knowing how to cope. So when people address me on things that doesn't necessarily sit right with my personality, I had to learn to control myself. I also had to learn how to address people that were dealing with the same situations and learn how to be compassionate towards them. Just because it may no longer affect me, people are still experiencing the things that I'm experiencing, so knowing how to be compassionate. A great success that I have experienced as a leader is by far the biggest success I have experienced is graduating, y'all, not giving up. Now, I've been given so many times where I thought I wasn't going to make it, where I just didn't want to go to school, didn't want to go to class, didn't want to compete. I don't come from the richest background. I don't have the most wealth in my family, so competing as an athlete was how I paid for school. Being a part of AmeriCorps was how I received my monthly stipends and monthly income, so not giving up. And ultimately getting that degree at the end, it took a lot. It took a lot of patience, a lot of time, a lot of effort, and the road is not done. I still am pursuing a second education degree, my master's, or hopefully, if God's willing, I will be pursuing a nursing degree, but as of right now, it's not the end. So my biggest accomplishment is definitely my first degree in my bachelor's degree. I think the students should pursue leadership opportunities because you never know where it's going to lead you next. My first decision to transfer to Clayton State, I had to step up for myself and let my family know, hey, I'm not happy where I am. That's not necessarily being a leader, but speaking up is the first step to becoming a leader, knowing how to speak up for yourself. Coming to Clayton State, when I agreed to be a team captain, I never knew that, hey, I'm going to get recognized for being more than just a team captain. I'm going to be recognized for my talents, my personality, and that led me to another organization. And from that organization, people start to notice you. So being a captain on the track and field team, I was asked, I did a pageant for Apple by Apple Fraternity Incorporated, where I actually was noticed more than I thought I'd be noticed. So it doesn't, just because you're a leader for one organization or in one compartment, doesn't mean that other people are going to notice you outside of that. The advice I would have is do not be afraid to reach out. People don't know you're interested unless you say something. You have to have a voice for yourself, because if you don't have a voice for yourself, who else will have a voice for you? Definitely reach out to people that you see are in those high positions. You have to think of where you want to go and look in that direction and go towards the path where those people along that path can help you. So if you're interested in working in a certain department, talk to someone in that department. It doesn't have to be the head honcho. It doesn't have to be someone at the very top of the food chain, but starting at the bottom and work your way up. So definitely talk to someone, reach out to people. Bits and pieces of information help as well. They might not give you the overall spectrum, but being open to receiving information. So definitely reach out to people. You never know who knows what, so don't be afraid to ask questions. Definitely ask questions. If you never ask questions, you'll never know answers. So definitely reach out to people.